Let's begin with the concept of protection. When you're practicing magic, you need to protect yourself. There will be forces around and about who are attracted by the work that you're doing. They want some of the juice that you're creating. And you don't want to allow that unconsciously. It may be that you direct it with consciousness to those people that want the energy you're creating. And essentially that's what healing is. So maybe it happens, but it happens because you've decided, not because they have. And to make sure that that equation is in your favor, you have to start with protections. And certain things you must really take on as a discipline if this is to be safe. So, first of all, create safe space. Make sure that when you practice magic, you're in control of the environment, not only in terms of the physical location, but also in terms of time, that you're not interrupted and that you're not under time pressure to get the job done quickly and so on. So you take away all of that stress from your situation before you begin. And you approach the exercise with a clear heart and a clear mind. Now the clear heart, that means that you don't feel blamed or blameful. You don't feel troubled emotionally. You're really quite calm, centered, peaceful, feeling good, feeling strong. Clear mind, no anxiety, clarity about what you're doing and why. Is this an experiment into knowledge? Are you just sort of curious to find out what this is? Fine, that's what you're doing. Or do you have a particular purpose in mind? Then let that one purpose be what you're doing and not have two purposes. So think in a common sense way, but with a special degree of wisdom before you get going on this. It's not wrong to play with it. I might say, well, don't play with it, but yeah, do play with it. That's how we learn. But if you're being playful, then just know that and don't stoke up the energy too much. If you're being serious, then be serious and make no excuse about that. Don't defend yourself or explain yourself to anyone. You've decided to do this. And these are protections, because this actually generates a condition of being, an energetic condition in the heart of absence of shadow, in the mind of absence of shadow. You clear out your system of that which would attract the energy that you don't want. So the thing to do also before you begin is create safe space also on the subtle realms. And this is done by visualization and the use of sound, and also such things as incense and candles and so on. So you protect your space. Find a sound formula that works for you. A lot of people use the word Om. Some people use the invocation of the semi-god-like character of Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice wise. You can invoke, I call upon Hermes Trismegistus to be with me and ask for his guidance and protection. Or you could call upon your angels, or your guardian angel in particular, or if you've got power animals, you would visualize them and invite them to be with you. Call upon whatever it is that you want to be with you and protect you. And if you have some knowledge of mantra, you might use one of those mantras specifically to generate safe space. So I use the word Bismillah, Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, versions of those things. I want to offer two, maybe three particular exercises to do, which I have found sufficient for all purposes when I've been subject to invasive energies coming my way. People will throw dark arrows at you. There isn't any question of doubt about that. And what you have to do is to know what to do with those arrows. And there are two processes that are important. One is to defend against them, and the other is to use them to your benefit. The second, of course, is a more advanced practice. So let me just deal with the first one first. On the one-to-one level, when you're engaged with somebody in conversation, whether you're the teacher and the student is just challenging you in a strange way, or whether you're just in conversation with somebody, or you're trying to pick up on some knowledge or whatever, and you're talking to somebody who's starting to want to dominate you, or in any situation where you feel uncomfortable that somebody's pulling or pushing. People suck, draw your energy, or people dominate and belittle you if they can, the bullies and the suckers, the vampires. And they exist. It's not as though they're some fictional thing that you see in the movies. They exist, and they probably exist mostly within your close inner circle, your family, your friends. I mean, you know, be aware that people do suck. There are vampires in that sense. That's what word is used. That's how we call them. And there are bullies who just cannot contain their own water. They won't hold their own water, so they get you to pick up on their emotional process. Unacceptable. You don't let either of those things happen. So if you're gazing, you're exchanging a glance with a person who's doing that to you, the first thing to do is to be aware of it. And you're aware of it when you feel uncomfortable. You know, you just don't like something that's going on, and you don't have to understand it. Don't understand it at all, not necessary. What you do is just escape from it. And what is socially normal is to be looking at someone when they're talking to you. So if you turn away from them, that actually diminishes their power to talk to you. However, of course, that's socially unacceptable. So you've challenged them. You've actually introduced a power contest then if you turn away. But yeah, I've walked away from people who are just being rude to me. I've just turned my back and walked away. I don't care, you know. So you can do that. But if you don't want to be that obvious, then you can just change your focus of attention. And instead of looking in their eyes, look at a position at the bridge of their nose, a little bit away, about an inch away, about 2.5 centimeters away from the bridge of the nose. Just focus your attention on a point in front of the bridge of their nose. And they can't see that you're doing that. They don't know what's happening. There's a feeling that you've disappeared, and your consciousness is not there, so they can't invade it. And at the same time, if it becomes even more severe, stop listening. Let them talk at you, stop listening. And so you've withdrawn your attention from you, and they cannot invade you. So that's the first one. That's called the Sufi glance. There are people, of course, who work against you behind your back. You don't know what's going on. They don't face you, so you can't defend against it in the glance. So then what you would perhaps do is just before you go to bed, surround yourself in a pyramid of light. Just visualize yourself before you go to sleep, surrounded by this pyramid of light. And that means that you're going to sort of render yourself safe while asleep. In the daytime, if somebody's sending dark arrows at you, if you can feel it, just turn it around. And this is the second exercise that I want to introduce, where instead of defending against the attacking energy of someone, turn it around to your advantage. They're sending energy to you. Now it's polarized dark, shall we call it, or negative. So, okay, repolarize it. If somebody wants to send you energy, draw it in. It empowers you when you do that. So what you do is you just visualize light coming at you, and you create a visualization of a like a membrane. And that membrane has a magical quality. You're just imagining it. You know, this is your life, it's your world, it's your reality. You can imagine it how you want. So whenever dark light, dark arrows come to that membrane, it changes its polarity. It shifts, shall we say, 90 degrees. And so instead of being dark light, it becomes light. And these people that are actually trying to attack you are simply empowering you. And a general magical principle is that if one person who are themselves practicing magic, if that person attacks another magician, then they lose their power. They give their power to that other being. And I remember this. I was heartily attacked very vigorously and passionately by a powerful man once, and he was shouting at me at the full depth of his passion, and I just took it in. I just disappeared from his attention and just drank in the energy he was giving me, knowing that I was safe and actually being empowered by his outburst. So turn it around. Anyway, protect yourself before you do magic. That's the bottom line of what I'm saying today. Protect yourself. Don't just get involved willy-nilly. Make it safe before you start.